Morning and welcome back to the Football Terrace. I hope you're all having brilliant starts to your day. So much going on across social media right now. Big day ahead for Arsenal Football Club. Protests at 6 o'clock. An important game tonight in the EPL. We'll, of course, be covering both, going live for both, giving attention to both. So make sure you stay tuned in. We cannot let Kroenke out, Glazer out, FSG out, ENIC out. Slow down. We cannot allow that to happen as football fans. Hit that like button for me, by the way. Share and subscribe. Turn on the bell notification so you know when we go live again. Sign up to the Discord server as well. Best football community on the planet. That's you, the Terrace. That's you all. You make the community what it is. Someone saying no audio. Are you just I love it when people do that. Trying to catch me out there. Magpie Cake. There's definitely audio. I can see the audio. Anyway, we're here to talk. We're here to talk about the Super League and the fact that many believe this bodged attempt of the European Super League may feel like it's over to some, but it could have a sting in its tail. There is belief now that the Big Six Premier League teams are going to turn their attention to a British equivalent, a carry-on from Operation Project Big Picture that was proposed in the latter stage of 2020 and first formulated between Liverpool and Manchester United in 2017. The article I read here says, after their plans for a European Super League went up in smoke, the Premier League Big Six are aiming a little smaller and have started discussing plans for a British equivalent instead. The Big Six all failed in their attempts to create their own competition and trample on anyone who gets in their way, but many club executives remain convinced that football needs some type of shake-up. And that hasn't been detailed or denied or pushed aside by any of these football clubs. None of them have said, we're just going to stick to things how they are. And I don't think football fans are against progression, but it just needs to be fair. The pyramid's protected as best as possible, and any club given the opportunity to make their way into the league. It says here that late in 2020 brought us the infamous Project Big Picture, which saw Liverpool and Man United push to rejig the English football pyramid, which was widely condemned. But according to many outlets, the duo remain at it and are discussing the idea of a British Super League instead. The idea would be to add the likes of Celtic and Rangers to this format as well. This was discussed, as you know, but this was something that the Telegraph detailed at the latter part of last year. And what was really interesting with this proposal is Man United and Liverpool are at the forefront of this, and they've been pushing it to make the biggest changes to the English game in a generation. Talks over potential changes to the landscape in English football first began in 2017, but have accelerated over the course of 2020, primarily due to the outbreak of CV-19. It says here, according to the Telegraph, the two sides are collaborating well on what would be called Project Big Picture. And we know that Project Big Picture was rejected, but the Super League was a bigger alternative. Many think they're going to return back to a British formula. The proposal, which was written up by Liverpool's owners, the Fenway Sports Group, already has backing from United and mooted support from Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham and Manchester City. One of the biggest changes could be the transition to an 18-team league. Under these new proposals, there would still be 3 promotions and 3 relegation spots, but instead of the championship playoffs, the third, 4th and 5th place teams in that division would square off against the 16th place team in the league to decide who remains. So the bottom 3 the bottom 2 would go down, 18th and 17th, and then the 16th, and then the 3rd. Yeah, there would almost be a playoff between a Premier League team and 2 championship style teams. They also want to look at doing away with the League Cup. They also want to get rid of the Community Shield as well. And what I really wanted to do this morning is to gauge your opinions on this. would you agree with a British-style Super League? You had Celtic and Rangers into this pyramid. In fact, yeah, you had Rangers and Celtic into this pyramid. You still allow jeopardy, so teams can fall out. You still allow teams to come from nothing, to rise up from being small to big. A big club to foul and then rise from its ashes and get back to the peak of its powers. That should still be allowed. Would you support a British style? I mean, Welsh teams are already involved in the English leagues. The only kind of stumbling block to this that I feel would be difficult would be getting the Scottish FA and the English FA to come to an agreement, because you would certainly have to merge the majority of their leagues, because you've got to give the opportunity to all the Scottish teams to be able to get into this British league. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this. Guna here says, Neil says, no, it would kill Scottish football. And that would be my first objection. What is being done to protect it? How do the Scottish teams have an opportunity of getting into this league? If this new league was to generate billions of pounds, is that going to be evenly distributed between the English pyramid and the Scottish pyramid? Those things would have to be done. And if we hear a proposal like this in 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, wherever it may be, come ready, football clubs, with how you're going to do things. A full manifesto required in relation to that. Ahmed here says that's just like the Bundesliga relegation system and only one domestic cup. Absolutely. So there are a lot of European countries that have fairly similar systems. But would you support this idea? A smaller league, the biggest and the best teams in the current world from British football in one league fighting it out, less games. So, of course, two less teams being in the league reduces matches, no League Cup, no Community Shield. So you're giving some teams, maybe you're giving some teams back, between 4 and 10 games per season. And that's something players have been asking for as well. So I'm not going to shoot this down instantly and say it's the worst idea ever, but there needs to be jeopardy. There needs to be an incentive to keep growing as a football club, and the league systems as they are right now need to be protected. But I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this. Winter Surfer here says Welsh teams earn their way to the Premier League. Celtic and Rangers should be made to do the same. And I think that's a fair point to be made, but will never happen. If something like a British Super League went forward, if it actually was created, they would want those two powerhouses. And you know what? Younger fans, you won't maybe look at Celtic and Rangers as powerhouses, but trust me, they have gargantuan global fan bases. They just don't have, their league is just not as compelling as it used to be. The money isn't there. If you give Celtic and Rangers proper money, within 5 to 10 years, they're challenging. So I suppose the kind of the benefit from a competitive point of view to a British Super League is over a 4 or 5 year period. If there was more money for these teams at the top, we know the top 6 would be there or thereabouts. Leicester are well on their way. Wolves are coming up. Everton are coming up. Villa are coming up. Celtic and Rangers would be added to the mix. It would create a large amount of competitiveness. Top 4, maybe top 5 go into the Champions League with under new Champions League reign. It could be good. But what you would need to do is ensure that the lower echelons are protected as much as possible. Money is evenly distributed and that the corruption doesn't ensue. Terry, what do you think about turning the EFL Cup into an under-23 competition? Well, of course, the EFL Cup's important for the. I think teams in Europe should, at the very least, have to put under-23 teams into it. Get good development for them. And then it gives people lower down the pecking order more of an opportunity of winning, because actually go and look at the League Cup winners in the last 20 years. Look how many times, and FA Cup, look how many times a team outside of either the Big 4 or the Big 6 as it stands right now have won it. It's minimalistic to say the least. So I think something needs to be looked at. Hamid here says, unless they merge 2 leagues, I don't see it happening. And maybe that's a caveat. Maybe that's the caveat and what they could do. I know there'd be a bit of pride, England, Scotland, hundreds of years of rivalry, but it could revitalize Scottish football. Why not? I'm not looking at this as a Scot, so I'm maybe speaking out of turn here, but you're behind financially and you're behind in terms of national development. Why not piggyback off of the English success to grow help your own nation in terms of its football. I mean, imagine how many big games there would be in Scotland because of that. The tourist element, the pubs, the restaurants, the hotel trade would go up. There are benefits to it from an economical point of view that need to be looked at. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. And as most people said, the biggest issue a lot of people saw with this new the European Super League is no one else to join it. I'm telling you, if they proposed it where there was no founding member was permanently involved, there was an opportunity for everybody to get into the leagues, and money would be pumped down to help everybody, it may have been met with a hell of a lot more support. It was this, it's our league now, none of you can ever join it. That's what put the majority of people off. So who knows? In other news this morning, we're going to have KJ on in a few moments. We are going to take your calls. In other news this morning that I wanted to discuss, a big rumor circulating because of a quote from The Athletic this morning that Manchester United could be up for sale. And I want to quote it first and foremost. So the quote said that, the quote that was put out was, the Americans now know that their ambition to get the club to a place of guaranteed Champions League revenue every year are futile, and now may be the time to cash in. That was the quote that was taken. Got a lot of people excited. I got excited when I read it, and then I went and read the rest of the quote before it. It said here that this has reignited the campaign to get the Glazers out of Man United, and some in the industry feel the Super League collapse enhances that prospect. So essentially what this Laurie Whitwell was saying, that some people in the industry of football think that maybe the collapse of the Super League might make the Glazers sell. There is no evidence, as it stands, as we told you last night, as it stands now at this moment on the 23rd of April 2021, that the Glazers are considering selling Man United. We said, you heard yesterday, the Kroenkes are not looking to sell Arsenal. ENIC and Joe Lewis are not looking to sell Tottenham. And some fairly credible sources have said to me, I've seen Grizz Khan talk about this, they are not looking, FSG are not looking to sell Liverpool. The only way this is going to happen, and look at the quote there from an industry professional, the guaranteed revenue. Every time you hear about someone wanting to sell their club, the word money comes up. If they're only interested in money, you know what to do, ladies and gentlemen. Keep the energy alive. Stop putting money into your football clubs in the short, medium, and long term. Morning, Terry. What do you think the punishment should be for the top six? Listen, I think Roman is said to be angry with Marina and Petr Cech. Listen, I'm hearing a lot of this in a minute. I'm hearing a lot of twisted stories. Woodward quit because he wasn't happy with the Glazers. Roman isn't happy with Petr Cech and Marina. Roman signed off on it. There is no way on God's earth that Chelsea entered that Super League agreement without Roman knowing a thing about it. None. Chelsea fans, I love you all on this platform. You've been amazing for me. But let us not, wake up and smell the coffee here. Roman knew. He signed off on it. Ed Woodward knew. He signed off on it. John W. Henry knew, signed off on it. I'm seeing a lot of this where it's like you've seen, we'll try and scapegoat the CEO, or we'll try and scapegoat the owners in this. But Man United, the Glazers and Woodward knew about it. The executive boards at every single club knew about this. Facts. Directors of football, managers, not so much, because they're not involved in those types of decisions at clubs. But the executive members and board members all knew about this. Definitely the owners of the football club. 110%. So for me, he can be annoyed all he wants. Maybe he feels they fed him the wrong information and they didn't do their due diligence, and that would be fair. But anybody trying to act like Roman is a victim in this, I'm not. It's not. Listen, he pulled out, and that's honourable of him to do. But every single owner of all of these 6 clubs is guilty here, and I think we need to maintain their energy. I just think we do. I just think we do. Terry, did you see Ray Parlour go in on Robbie from AFTV? I did. I haven't commented in it yet. I've had a very busy morning myself. But for me, do you know what? I quite like Ray Parlour as a footballer. I listen to his punditry sometimes. Sometimes he speaks sense. Sometimes he doesn't. But this, for me, was so out of line, so unnecessary, so off topic for what they were talking about. And it's not like Talk Sport don't post fans that phone up and say negative things. It isn't like they don't post negative opinion, outrageous opinion, rants, angry fans, angry presenters, controversial moments. It's just pot kettle black. All I can see here, pot kettle black. And Robbie, again, handled himself with distinction, decorum, intelligence. And for me, it's not the first time that TalkSport have done this to AFTV. In the bin today, Ray Parlour, in the bin, TalkSport. You should be issuing an apology. You really, really should. The fact that AFTV are the biggest, or the joint biggest, along with the United Stand fan channel, fan media platforms in the world. They're phenomenal. And listen, you may not enjoy what they do, but it doesn't mean they should be attacked. To say that Robbie doesn't want Arsenal to win is an outrageous lie. I've spent many a time with Robbie. We don't speak all the time anymore, but we text and we stay in contact. 100% a top man. And I thought he smoked Ray Parlour today in terms of his response, but I thought it was disgraceful from Ray Parlour, no doubt. Replace the EFL Cup with a British Cup, maybe. That could happen. Again, I wouldn't be, trust me, England versus Scotland in any kind of game is always fun from a rivalry point of view. Could be amazing, but there we go. Woodward trying to get sympathy from the world football. Listen, he ain't getting it. Acting like I didn't agree with it, so I left. Hush your mouth, bruv. What Woodward has done, he's tried to fall on his sword. He's falling on his sword. No, he's not actually falling on his sword. He's not taking the blame. He's leaving. I don't really get his angle. To be honest with you. Doesn't make any sense. It's because it's a lie. Lies often don't make any sense. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. We're going to bring KJ on there to have you say. Then we're going to open the lines for you all to come on and speak to us this morning live on the Football Terrace. Morning, KJ. How you doing, bro?
Yo, what's up? A lot to talk about this morning. Lots of news coming out. Lots of things going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, bro. First of all, what was your response? What's your feeling on the news now that the clubs are going to look for this British Super League thing? How do you feel about that?
To be fair, it's not a bad idea, but it's just, again, execution is key. Scottish football is dying by itself and it needs help. But just bringing Celtic and Rangers into league ain't helping them. You know what I mean? My idea is, my solution to it would be scrap the League Cup and make the FA Cup this British Cup. You know what I mean? Elevate it a bit more, add more teams in, and give the revenues to these smaller teams, to these smaller leagues, and help build it up. Because I feel like merging leagues wouldn't be a great idea. So, because Celtic and Rangers are gone. What about Aberdeen? What about Hibernian? What about all these other teams in the league? They stay in the Scottish League and die. And if you merged all the leagues together, you know how far some of these Scottish teams are? These teams in the lower leagues, could they afford to be traveling out there all the time to play these games? Like, in a cup competition, it's maybe once or twice you do that, which is fair enough. But I'm just thinking in the long term, is it feasible for these smaller clubs to be traveling these distances on a constant basis? It's not like a Man United who has to go travel in Europe. They've got the finances to do that. They've got the resources to do that. These smaller clubs, they don't have private planes. They don't have helicopters. They don't have all these things that help them travel. Them man got the coach and that's it. You know what I mean?
No, of course, yeah, mate, you're absolutely right. And I think you go down to like League Two and non-league level and everything else. I think there would need to be. You could almost. I mean, I don't know how it would work, and this is off the top of my head. You sort of look at League One, League Two. Could you create something that's a North and South? And then that feeds into a championship, which then feeds into the. So you could, So maybe you do a little bit of that. Maybe you sort of do a North and South, like League One is a League One South, League One North. That leads into a championship, which leads into a Premier League, leads into the Super League. Like maybe something like that. And I think you make some great points. And it's just something that's come up in the last few days, and it's one of those stories that's going under the radar again, like. People sort of think the Super League come out of nowhere. Just go to the Athletic and look at related articles. this story's been going on for 3 years.
Longer than that.
As far as I can see. So it's there. And this is what will happen again. The British Super League thing will start to be spoken about, be talked, and then suddenly there'll be this big boom. And we need to keep our eyes on this so we're abreast of it. And like you say, execution is everything, because if they show us, and the element of creating the north-south divide at the lower level does cater to fans, because you're not getting someone that lives in the Highlands of Scotland travel all the way down to Plymouth on a Tuesday evening. You know, it's that case. It will be to the northern half of UK as an example. And I think there's something in that. I mean, I think there's some mileage with it, but execution would be key. In terms of the AFTV stuff, I really wanted to get your thoughts on the way that Robbie was sort of set upon this morning by Ray Parlour.
Ray Parlour's a pagan. That's all it is. Ray Parlour's a pagan who works for Gammon Sports. That's what I'm going to call them from now on. Gammon Sports, fam, because he man's up there getting his head all hot, getting his face all red. For what reason? Because someone decided to make a fan channel. Just last few days, this same Gammon Sports was saying football's for the fans. Fans need to have a say. Fans need to have a voice. It's a disgrace the club's doing this. But a couple of days later, because a man set up a place where fans can have a voice, and taking away your peace because you men are dying, you're upset. Again, hypocrisy everywhere. And this whole fiasco is just showed where everyone just cares about the money. Robbie did this for the fans, and he's fortunate enough that it's grew to a place where, he's making a bit of change out of it. But his heart was always for the fans. Gammon Sports went for the fans. They've never been about the fans. You know what I'm saying? They've always been about their pocket. That's why they're getting vexed at all these different things. They're getting vexed at Robbie, DT, Troops, Flex. Question, Terry. Why haven't why haven't Gammon Sports gone after Mark Goldbridge in the same way as Robbie? Why haven't they gone after United Stand when it's not Flex involved in the same way they've gone after AFTV with Troops and DT? So explain to me. Because I just want to know.
Mate, I understand exactly what you're saying. I understand exactly what I find confusing. And look, I'm not going to tar every single person at TalkSport that works with them with the same brush, because it's Ray Parlour that said what he said. What I find strange about them as an organization is they have YouTubers that present shows across their platform. They have YouTubers that work for them, but yet every now and then they attack Robbie, they attack Troops who work in that same industry. In fact, some of the people that work for TalkSport are also employees of AFTV. The whole thing is weird, and it's crazy, really. And as you say, for me, AFTV always get a bad rap. What I hear all the time is this: AFTV earn money off of the club's failure. Well, here's a thought, Arsenal. Be better.
Be good. Be good. I know it's mad. You know what's mad, Terry? You know what's mad, yeah? These men are screaming, you're earning money off the club. You're earning money. Which organization makes their fans pay to come and speak? Tell me which one? Because Robbie don't do that. It is free to go on AFTV, but you have to wait how long? And they charge you how much pounds per minute just to try and get on TalkSport, let alone get on there so you could be on there for 30 seconds, get shouted down, and then hooked off. You know what I'm saying? Like, TalkSport, they have no foot in this. They can shut their mouths and be happy that you're still relevant, that Robbie would even still commute. If I was Robbie, I wouldn't even go on there. What's the point? You're bigger than them. They're literally, they're clout chasing. Gammon Sports, big TalkSport, big, are clout chasing after Robbie. All right, cool. I see you, man. And you guys suck, bro. Like, get in the bin. And listen, we know some people that have been involved with TalkSport and do stuff for TalkSport. But listen, that organization is a load of whack, fam. You know what I'm saying? It's a load of was, and I beg that them man get exposed for the frauds that they are, man.
You know what's interesting about it? I'm going to reveal some internal football terrorist talk here publicly. You all know this. I've said it to you all privately. I don't care if any of you come on here and attack my opinions, rip my opinions apart. I put opinions out in a public forum to be challenged, debated, agreed with, whatever. My only rule is you don't slag the platform off that you're using to elevate yourself. Like, your platform is like trash. You're that. If you like, if KJ went around saying that Terry's talking nonsense, KJ's role as the host of Midnight Vibes is under absolutely zero threat. And every single one of my hosts and panelists know they can challenge my opinions, my views on football and everything. Attacking what is now a company, you saw the announcement today, our wonderful partnership with Snack. That's like, well, why are you going after that for? That's what you are part of it, or it's what it is. And that's what I saw this morning. And now TalkSport are not involved with AFTV, but it's the same principle here for me. Go after Robbie's opinion on something. Robbie don't care. Why are you attacking the platform that he's built? It's no different to yours. It's from the same model as yours. That's the thing for me that really gets to me. It's come for me, not the platform, which is nothing. Do you get where I'm coming from? It's just for me.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Attack someone's opinion, not their personality, not their person, and not who or what they through. It's mad.
And you know what's mad? You know what's funny? Yeah, you know what's funny? Ray Parlour was all for AFTV when he was on there doing an interview. You know what I'm saying? Man's acting like your bruv. You was on the thing, fam. You was on it, saying your opinion, speaking. So you are in no place to chat. You're in no place to chat. Fam, you were making money off the club too, innit? You were making money off the thing as well, aren't you? Because you was on AFTV. You said your opinion. So I don't see why my man's talking, bruv. I'm telling you, I don't care. Listen, people say, but he's a legend of the game. But I don't freaking care if you're a pagan, you're a pagan. Ray Parlour is a pagan, bruv. I don't care. Anyone has to say.
There we go. That's been said. Monster here with these super chats says it's quite funny how TalkSport are starting to use YouTube to show their live studio. I thought they were a radio station. That's just it. That's what I don't understand about it. YouTube, TalkSport are now a YouTube channel as well. They've had a YouTube channel for years. They're now live streaming on it. And there's no difference. What happens is, though, there is this air of arrogance and elitism within the journalistic world of football. I was at the FIFA Best Awards in 2017. Big up everybody at UFF. I'm going to do a little post about UFF later, and Robbie, actually, because a lot of people don't know what they did for me, and I didn't want to mix it in with everything else. A big thank you is going to go out there to them. I went to the FIFA Best Awards. Loved it. I was on a red carpet, right? And we got a touch. So on the red carpet, you had all the players coming in. Ronaldo, Messi, God rest his soul, Maradona was there. Philip Schofield, all these big stars walking down. He was there as well. I chatted to him. Peter Schmeichel did an interview him. It was great. Alex Scott and whatever. And all these footballers, Harry Kane, like I'm even forgetting names now. So many footballers came down, right? And you had like the written press, then the photographers, and then the best spot on the red carpet, YouTubers, me, DT, Louis from 100% Chelsea at the time. Have hope. We were all there, right? We were all standing there, getting interviews, chatting to these guys, pictures, everything. It was amazing. Allegri I met, which was wicked. Loads of people. And this journalist come up to me and he's like, who are you with? Who are you with? I said, what do you mean, who am I with? He went, what kind of media outlet are you? And I didn't say anything because I was like, I never really coined it. And it was Ross Smith. It was heavily involved with UFF at the time. Just said, we're fan media. And ever since then, that's what I've referred to us as fan media. And this journalist went, that's not a thing. 4 years later, what are you saying, bruv? What are you saying now?
If it's not a thing, then why were you there, baby? You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's what I'm saying. But like, why are we here then? Because we didn't pay to be here, bruv. You know what I'm saying?
Mate, it was exactly that. And listen, there's a lot of journalists out there that are great for I work with, writers we work with. There are a lot of mainstream media outlets that are brilliant for what we do. There is no doubt. And there are elements of TalkSport that support these platforms as well. But you just get some individuals that are stuck in the mud, stuck in their ways, old-fashioned, and they're not with it. They don't understand the new world order. They don't understand that kids don't come home from school anymore and do what I did and put BBC One on and watch Grange Hill and then watch Neighbours and then watch The Simpsons on BBC Two and then put Hollyoaks on or whatever it is. I don't know. That was the process as a kid for me. Now it's people come home and they go on YouTube and they watch this. People watch they watch the football on the Sunday afternoon and then they turn the TV off and then they go straight onto YouTube. It's the football terrace.
Oh, wait.
It's AFTV. That's what they do. Get with it.
Rio came out and said something about it as well. He's basically like, bruv, why are you complaining? This is the new world now. You know what I'm saying? This is the new media. It's here to stay. Why do you think Rio's adapted? He's working with Howson. He's working with Joel. He's working with the fans because he knows actually, this is changing. This is adapting. This is evolving, and I need to be there for it to be when it does. When we finally cement ourselves and take over the place, Ray Parlour will be begging to be part of fan media. He'll be begging.
Listen,
right, man, you listen. He's just trying to keep an old dinosaur alive, fam.
Of course, TalkSport are massive hypocrites. They are threatened by actual fans having platforms. Big up to Robbie. Do you know what I think it comes down to as well with some people? It's not all journalists. It's not all mainstream media. But there is this, I went to uni. I'm a trained journalist. I'm a trained presenter. How dare you get an opportunity? But you know what? In life, sometimes people just, I think what's become very apparent through YouTube is that some people have a natural proclivity to be good talkers, good interviewers, good presenters. Flex from United Stand, impeccable interviewer, impeccable presenter. I don't think he's had any professional training. He's just good at it. But there's this arrogance of, you haven't been trained. You get this in acting. I've got a friend who's done pretty well in the acting industry. He didn't go to drama school. He didn't know Shakespeare courses. Like he didn't go. He's not a thespian. He did some stage work recently, and he said it took about 4 or 5 months for the fellow actors to accept him was one of them because he made his debut in a really big Hollywood film, and he'd made lots of films and lots of TV programs, but never acted on stage. And it was like, ugh, you're not really an actor. And it's sort of like, well, he is. He just didn't do it the way his journey.
I've worked with some theatre students and theatre people, and them men are just snobby no matter what you are. I'm like, can't stand them. Yeah. But one thing I will say. Flex doesn't have any traditional training. He worked in schools. He used to be a DJ. His experiences have led him to that point. People don't understand. Just because you don't have a degree in what you're doing or you've never had training doesn't mean you don't have the experience that can adapt into that role. So people's life experiences can help you. I don't have to be trained to do this. But if I've gone to school and done projects and I had to present in front of people, that's experience. If I've gone to work, I've had to organize, I've had to lead, I've had to do X, Y, and Z, that leads to experience, and that leads something I can convert and transfer over into the same thing. I don't see why these people don't think that it's not a hard concept to think. It's a hard concept to comprehend.
Yeah, bro. I put out owners. Sorry. I put out a post earlier on today on my link. It was a LinkedIn post as opposed to a Facebook post, and it was just because Snack did the announcement on LinkedIn, and I did a bit of a post, but I paid homage in it to the current company I'm employed by, and Barclays Bank, who have done so much to develop me as a person. There's no way that 20-year-old Terry that joined Barclays 16, 17 years ago would be able to do what I'm doing now: training, development, exposure, empowerment, education. Like, they discovered my dyslexia, which has enabled me to enhance it and improve it and work on things to make my life a little bit easier. And that journey, just because it isn't because it isn't sort of the traditional route into things, people just have a snobby approach at it. But for me, big up everyone that's working in these industries and doing their thing. As I say, I don't agree with every single YouTuber's opinions. And I was talking to you about this privately the other day as well, that I challenge people's opinions, but I'm not challenging the person. It's sort of like, if I don't like a person, do you know what I actually do?
Don't talk to them.
I don't talk to them or about them. Like, if there's a YouTuber that I say, what he said there was wild, it's because I like the person. I like the content. If I think that YouTuber is an idiot, you'll never see me quote, tweet, comment, praise, retweet. I just wouldn't do it because I don't mess with people I don't like. Super chat here says, CL, I would like to see no group stage. In the Champions League, no group stage, knockout games, League One North and South, and League Two North and South. If the UEFA Champions League just knockouts, then have 22 clubs in the EPL and 22 clubs in the Championship. See, options and ideas like that could very much work. It thinks about fans. It keeps things competitive. Maria here of another super chat says, also big football Italia on a Saturday, old school. Football Italia. That was, did that end? I swear it ended with the word like someone used to go, Go Lazio, something like that. Go Lazio.
No, that was, wait, no, that might have been that one. But I remember when I was watching La Liga on Sky, I think it was Roberto Martinez. It was like, he used to say Whopper or something like that, or Golasso. Right. Yeah. So I remember that when growing up as a kid.
No, absolutely. Could the time of the Mourinho sacking be used as a Super League story to deflect from Spurs and Levy? Barely anyone has talked about them. Do you know what it comes down to? I'm going to sound harsh here, and I'm sorry, Spurs fans. Spurs are being spoken about the least in this because they've got the smallest audience. City have barely been mentioned as well. It's just the biggest clubs get the more coverage because there's more traction because more fans want to read and learn about it. But I don't think it's gone under the woodwork. I don't think it's gone under the woodwork with Tottenham fans. I think Tottenham fans have been absolutely infuriated by what their club has done. They protested the other day. Not the biggest protest ever in the world. We did have a bit of a joke in the football community yesterday in our group chat yesterday, saying we've got more Spurs fans in our group chat than turned out to the protest. But listen, that is what it is. How dare you, Terry? Sorry, Alan. Sorry, bruv, but it is true. Now, but it is true.
It's mad because I think even some Spurs fans don't fully understand the situation that they're in. I'm not trying to sound condescending or anything, but when you've had these owners for this amount of time and this has just happened and the protest is on, I would expect more to come through. But I feel like some of the objective was just get Mourinho gone and get out of the Super League. And that's the objective complete. Like you said, like you've talked about your dad and how he was just happy to settle for good football and potentially come in fourth every now and then. I think maybe some Spurs fans I think maybe some Spurs fans haven't got to that point of frustration with the owners. Like, look how long it took for the United fan base just to be disunited against the Glazers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if that's taking this long, Spurs fans, with some of them with their mindset of just accepting the mediocrity, that might play a part as well.
I completely agree. We're going to open up the lines now for you to all come on and have your say. We're going to share it in the comments section below. We want to know what you're thinking and you're feeling about things. We're talking about the sale of Manchester United. There's a lot of rumours today that it could happen, but these are just based on opinion. You've got to take the money away for it to be sold. In my humble view, we're talking about the British Super League. Is it something you would welcome? If you've got any Scots that are watching, that obviously follow Scottish football, I'd love your views and your opinions on these things as well. And we do want to hear your thoughts on the needless, mindless, horrible attacks this morning on Robbie and AFTV. And do you know what? Fan media, fan channels in general, always getting a bad rap. Always, we're the ones that are going to continue this fight now over Super League. I get a feeling that a lot of the other broadcasters are slowly just going to move away from it. We want your views. We want your opinions. Make sure that like button's being, what's that, 182 likes? What are you doing, people? Smash that like button right now. Winter Surfer says, please. Spurs protest is being added to the end of season. Oh, come on. A Winter Surfer Chelsea fan, Fran, shots there, bro. Twisted Bubba says, Terry, big football fan channels should work together and create a DAB radio station. DAB radio station. Sorry. More accessible for all. Competition is healthy. I can't reveal everything right now, but we got some serious plans at the Terrace with our new partnership in terms of where we're going to be broadcasting. So keep an eye on that. Equally, I did receive an email yesterday, and I'm not gonna reveal everyone that was copied in because they may not respond. But we got an email through yesterday from a guy called Robert Pastori, who copied me in and pretty much everyone else you've ever heard of when it comes to fan channels right across the spectrum, asking for us to basically join together, work together, content, posts. I have responded along with, so there was a response from Dale O'Donnell from Stretford News, a response from Phil Holloway from Leicester Fan TV, and myself so far in terms of copying everybody in. Some people might have responded privately, where we have all committed to working together as fan channels to create content, protest, share, petitions, boycott events, whatever it may be. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but I have committed myself and the Football Territories working towards that. And I know that Leicester Fan TV, Stretty News, and probably others privately have also committed to doing the same thing. And that's something that we would do at the Football Terrace. Of course we would. You know, we've been talking about this for years, and it's good to see things motoring on forward. We're going to go to some calls here. First on the show today, big Liverpool fan, Tom Little's here. How you doing, Tom?
I'm good, mate. You?
Yeah, very well, thank you. What's on your mind, brother?
This whole British Super League thing, it just seems like I was against it when it happened, like, first time. It's not the first time I was doing it. That's a completely different debate. I'm sick of them now, but whatever. I'm scared that this would be just the starting domino in another European Super League happening, and this time there will be a chance to stop it. Because I seem to remember with the Project Big Picture plans, you know, they were getting rid of the cups, the EFL Cup, the Community Shield, lessening the amount of games in the Premier League, so there was more time for bigger European games. That's exactly what they wanted with that Super League. So I'm scared that if this does come into effect, you know, the Super League idea could come back and there'd just be too much in the way to stop it, in a sense. Too much. It's all too perfect for it to be stopped.
No, I sorry, go on, KJ. Go on, bro.
I was about to say, like, I don't mind the Super League coming back. It's just the execution of what they're doing.
Yeah.
If they come back with, again, 15 teams just remaining there, no problem. And then I'll be like you, just like, this is the worst thing that could happen. But if they
you can't have it closed.
Yeah, they can't have it closed. But say if this Super League, this British Super League happened, I don't think it will anytime soon. But say if it did happen and they did it correctly, if that inspired the Super League or this European reforming UEFA to do something similar, I would not oppose that because the format, the execution would be right. But I get what you're saying in terms of if they do it in a negative way and it works in terms of money, they would then just use that as an example for European Super League. That's not good for the fans either.
Yeah, I think what's important to look at is something I read today. And again, these things need to happen as opposed to just being spoken about. But something that I read is that the Premier League are looking to introduce a law that no Premier League team, and I think they're trying to expand it across the FA, can create a breakout league like the Super League. So it would have to be something that's agreed via them. And I think, again, it's how it's executed. So if there's this, it's going to be domestic only. There's I don't even think the Super League in itself was the issue. It was the closed shop. It was a no one else can join us. There was no presentation as to how they would protect what they're leaving. And I think that for a British Super League to work, you've got to show us how.
In a sense, it was like the commercialization, weren't it? You know, as football fans, we're not like Americans who like this whole bling sort of Hollywood style sport. We like, in a sense, our nitty gritty football. We love our cold nights at Stoke. That's what makes football. So the fact that this was potentially going to throw that all away so they could make a couple million and have the biggest game of the season in their new league in a completely different country, and just so out there and so wrong, is it scares me that could come back because these owners right now, stupid what they did, but at least they listened. I'm scared that if new owners come into these clubs who just have money on their mind, because at the end of the day, most football fans here would sit there and go, I'm not going to support it. But there's a lot of fans that don't have a voice, really, that would still support it. There's about 10%, I'd say, of fans who would boycott it. That is not enough to really stop an idea like this going ahead in the future if these owners are dead set on it. There were doubts this time, as like the Athletic have said, with Chelsea and City. That's probably why it derailed. But if everyone was committed, I don't think there'd be enough fans out there who would fully agree to this boycott idea. Because for every one fan that does, there's 3 fans that just go, oh, Real Madrid, Barca, I'm watching that.
No, I hear you. I think it was the money as well. The amount of money that they was getting just for entering was ludicrous. Like, that could have supported so many teams in whatever pyramid in Europe that, but they all got it to themselves. It was just ridiculous. And you know, it's mad. You know how mad this whole thing was. Even JP Morgan have come out this morning and apologized for trying to set up the Super League. The actual bank that tried to bankroll this.
Do you know what has been good about this? So many brands, so many companies have just said this was outrageous. It's led to it. And for banks, and again, this is my background, commercial risk and compliant and regulatory risk is they focus on that. They don't want to get fines. They don't want to lose money. But reputational risk is huge, absolutely huge for them, because people walk away for those reasons. There'll be some, you know, some fairly wealthy. You could have a footballer right now, because footballers invest their money into banks, and so they should, to get a yield on their return. There might be football. Imagine this now, like say a big footballer comes out and slams a Super League. There'll be journalists that are going to go, hang on, no, Joe Blogs, you invest £5 million of your fortune a year in JP Morgan, but yet you're slamming for what they were trying to do. You're a hypocrite. So it will make people pull away from JP Morgan, because they won't want to be associated, because we know what people are like. They look for the, how can I get you? Can I get a got you moment on a particular person? So they had to come out and apologize. They have to try and come out and make amends. Tom, great call, mate. Thank you for coming on, having your say, young man. Appreciate that. To hear with the super chat here says, sports broadcasting feels that YouTube broadcasts are a threat, as viewers they are turning away and moving to YouTube, where they can have a say. 100% agree, no doubt. Next on the show, we have got Mr. Singh here with us this morning. What you saying, buddy?
I'm great. I'm good. How are you? How are you guys doing?
Very good, mate. Very good. What do you want to say, my friend?
Well, I was just going through the Ray Parlour video where he was just, trying to get on Robbie from AFTV, and I really found it very weird because I just couldn't understand the context, just like Robbie was not able to, and it was very demeaning to see the way he was putting him in such a spot. So what he was trying to say is basically you are trying to get the likes or the hits, and in a way you want Arsenal to lose. So in that way, even any other fan channel, whether it's United Stand, whether it's Stratford Paddock or for Football Terrace, under that thought process, I think they're just trying to demean these channels, demean the fan voices, and it just opposes the very thing that we are trying to go against, the ESL, the European Super League, right? So I just wanted to come out here and just want to say that you may oppose ESL, but in a way, if you're opposing the channels like AFTV or the fan channels, it's just a hypocrisy. It's just showing that you are just trying to gain the popular opinion, but actually with deep down inside, you're not trying to understand how massive the fan act is for any sport, especially for football.
110% agree, mate. I really do. Great call. Well said, buddy. And that is, I have to tell you this now, that is, because I wish I could grow, and that is a cracking moustache. That is a cracking moustache. I tried growing one once and I had to take it off because it looked terrible, bro. You look after yourself, my friend. Thank you for calling the terrace, mate. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Not a problem whatsoever. Nick P here says, don't put it past these banks to change their minds. JP Morgan also said Bitcoin wasn't a viable asset 2 years ago, not offering it to their clients. Well, look, let me just say quickly, none of the regulated entities, both in the United States of America or the UK, could publicly support Bitcoin because it is not a regulated product to invest in. And if it's not a regulated product to invest in that they have done full due diligence on, they will not give any kind of inclination or advice towards even just saying, yeah, it's a good investment. That can be turned into advice. That's against, in the UK, especially FCA regulation to do that. And it could cause them massive financial penalties. If JP Morgan says, yeah, it's a brilliant thing to invest in, and you go and put your life savings on it and it crashes, they could be responsible for that. So they're not, I respect your super chat, Nick, but they're not the same comparatives.
But it's right. Don't trust the banks because they are also pagans. Don't trust them. Don't trust them.
Some banks are very, very good. Is what yeah, but he just be mindful that commercial people are after making commercial money. There's no doubt. Thoughts on Ilkay Gundogan's tweet yesterday? He's right. Because there are too many games, and there are too many games that don't matter. and we need that. And we need that to be able to be reduced. And I think that might increase the quality of competition, no doubt. Next on the show this morning, we've got Lamin. Lamin's with us. What you saying, bro?
How you doing, Terry?
I'm good, mate.
Yeah, I just called in to just give my thoughts on this whole British Super League thing. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have the same stance on it that I have on the European Super League. If it's going to destroy Scottish football, that is, to me, it's the same thing. Really, it's something that just can't run. Yes, Celtic and Rangers are big clubs and that, but if by having them in the Premier League, that's going to completely destroy all of the other clubs in Scotland, then that's not something that I can support as a football fan, because to me, it's just about like preserving the football clubs, and football is just, it's just so much bigger than just having like all the big teams in one league and then them trying to win. And just adding to that, on the other thing about the whole AFTV on Talk Sports Radio, I just find they're just so hypocritical, like Talk Sports, like, because they do the same thing whenever a team loses, to try to get their fans to call up and they get their reactions, instant reactions. And they at the same time going in on Robbie for basically trying to get real fans' reactions as well. So when it suits them, they do it. And it's quite funny that very clip that they posted on Twitter, they did it to basically try and get reactions of the fans to drive traffic onto their website. So I don't know, that Ray Parlour, I think, is someone that basically is either out of touch or just perhaps maybe just sold out. But yeah, I respect Robbie and the whole AFTV crew, even though I'm not an Arsenal fan, but it's the characters in there. You feel like you know them, even though you don't know them, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's all pretty much I gotta say on that, really.
Mate, listen, great points being made there, and you don't need to be a fan to enjoy fan content. I love this. It's why we went from being a Man United fan channel for 3 years, and in 2017-ish, I don't remember the exact date, we turned into the Football Terrace, because I wanted to talk with other fans about their clubs, my club. I wanted me and another Chelsea fan to chat about Spurs. Do you know why? Because that's what football was growing up for me. That's exactly what it was like in the playground with my boy. Like me and my boys, we support like about 8-9 different teams. Yeah, my brother turns up chatting about Orient. Shut up, bro. We ain't chatting about League Two here. Do you know what I mean? But it's good fun. Do you know? He's always taking the moral high ground. Oh, you big clubs. Like my brother's looked at me moaning for 8 years. He's like, bro, why are you moaning? You're in the Prem. But that's part of the debate. It's amazing. Listen, Lamin, great guy. Speak to you again soon, my brother. Take care. Next up, we've got Man Like Ads in the house. What you saying, Ads?
No, I'm not too bad, boys. What you saying?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. What do you want to say this morning?
Well, to be honest, boys, I'm just gonna be as real as possible. I woke up really positive this morning. You know, I had a bad day yesterday, but I woke up today feeling good. But you know, and then as soon as I see and hear all this bullshit that's going on at the moment, it's just it ruins your day, man. It ruins your day, and I've never gone so long where there's been so much positivity between everyone. Everyone's reuniting. All the fans are talking to each other, coming together. And I said this to you yesterday, T. But you know, we're back to square one. There's just always a resounding amount of clashing between people, fans, podcasters, all these radio stations, people like Talk Sport, always talking shit. It's just for me, it's just an abundance of negativity. It's always going to be negative. There's always going to be negativity. Whether it's look, we don't even need to talk about football right now. We just need to talk about the situation about some British Super League. For me, it's the dumbest idea ever. For me, it just doesn't paint a solid picture in my mind. Thinking about it, even the Europa the Super League. At the start, everyone was saying, "Oh yeah, you know what? Maybe you can look at this and just see how it evaluates, but maybe it might not go to anything." But then everyone realized it was actually just going to ruin our game completely. But you know, these are the people we're going to forever have to deal with. People like the Glazers, who always come up with a second plan when they don't get their way, throwing their dummy like the pram. And for me, it's just never going to end. So I'm just going to be real with myself. I think us as fans need to just remain positive, but I'd say aim to hope for the best, but I wouldn't get my hopes up consistently.
Mate, I hear you on that. In terms of the clubs and stuff being sold, I've been saying to me and KJ spoke a lot privately in the last few days. I just keep saying to him, there's nothing until something tangible happens. it's all just sort of noise right now. There isn't any inclination that Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs are looking to sell. And in my opinion as a fan, but my opinion as someone that's worked in the corporate world for a long time, while the underlying asset continues to grow in value, while the turnover continues to increase, and they're able to use your club as an asset and as collateral and leverage to grow their business portfolios across the UK, Europe, and globally, they will not sell. The only way to take action, and the protests today, tomorrow, we've seen this week, are stage one. You then need to take tangible action. Take your money away. Rip up your season tickets. Do not renew. Cancel Arsenal TV, MU TV, LFC TV. I don't know if Spurs have one. If they do, cancel it. All these things have to happen. And if you don't, imagine everyone that protests, they won't do this. But if everyone goes there and protests, and then at the end of the protest, they all go into the megastore and buy a kit, it's pointless.
It defeats the purpose.
It defeats the object. And I'm not saying they'll go straight in at that point, but they'll go home and their son's like, "Oh, Dad, Arsenal have released a new jacket. Can I have it?" "Yeah, son, of course you can. Love you." You just got to think, be like, no. You know what I mean? Like, I'll buy you a Nike or an Adidas jacket. I'm not going to buy anything associated with. Actually, do you know what I would do? Is this? Who sponsors Man United? Who's our
Adidas.
Adidas. Cool. Adidas. I'm going to buy you a Nike jacket, son. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to buy Man United sponsors. I used to drink a wine that's our wine sponsor. I ain't bought that in months. I love a wine. I love a bit of red on a Friday. But
it's what we got to do. It's got to hit all of them. Hit all of them.
Exactly. Listen, Ads, great call.
Take care, boys.
Having your say, really appreciate that, brother. Next up on the show, here he is. We've got David coming on very soon. Pav's coming on, but I've got to get this man on. It's man like Aaron. Went viral. Aaron, do you know you went viral this week?
Yeah, I saw that from Give Me Sport, my reaction to the European Super League. And I was like, I didn't give them permission to use me on their channel, but fair enough, I'll take it.
Just to let you know, my partnership with Snack, Give Me Sport, a part of that. So I gave that.
Right.
Yeah, so if you call into this show,
you coming on, he's giving permission.
Yeah. Expect
I would have given it.
Expect yourself to get seen on Give Me Sport. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I would have given it anyway if it was up to me anyway. But I saw it and I was like, yeah, I'm quite happy about that. Because it means that my voice is one of the ones that gets heard, and I feel sorry for the people that didn't get heard and didn't get put virally. In terms of this British Super League, look, do I think Celtic and Rangers should join the Premier League? No. Do I think there should be more investment into Scottish and English lower league football? Yes. I've said this previously, Terry. I think that we've not been given the funds that we've been promised, and my club's exposed them on that, and many other clubs have exposed them on that. And I think that I think this whole thing just goes back to the Super League again. It defeats the whole point. In my personal opinion, I think this is just another cash cow, and it might not look that way on the face of it, but give it a few months and the proper plans come into effect, I think they're gonna sort of show what they really, really care about, and that's money. And I heard you backstage just earlier, and it can't just be the protests. I'm gonna hopefully virtually be at the Arsenal protest this evening via video call, but I want to see the stage 2 now, where we hurt them where it hurts them most, and that is buying the stuff from the store, buying the season tickets, ripping them up. We need to move on stage 2 now, and I support a club that's not in a bad ownership, which on the one hand I'm grateful for, but on the other hand I feel guilty about that, because I see other clubs suffer and I feel like I need to do more to help them as well. I need to do more to stand up and sort of stand together with other fans in a way. So, clubs with good owners are just as culpable, because our fan base can do nothing. Our fan base choose to do nothing and just let them suffer. I'm not one of those fans. I'll stand up and I'll help them, get rid of the owners that need it. But, there needs to be wholesale change. And you know what? UEFA, FIFA, Premier League, they're all culpable, because they're going to let this happen. Newcastle's ownership, West Ham, despite the results on the pitch, their ownership's still poor. And, that's David Moyes' work. Don't get anyone that thinks that the board of West Ham was involved in getting them this possible top 4 finish. Don't even think that for a second. That's David Moyes and the players. Don't even think that's the board, because they gave them nothing to back them with. So, we've got, the big organisations now. The Super League's officially, nearly dead. We need to do more to stop the other organisations for tearing up our sport. But yeah, pick up yourself, guys. And Terry, thanks for following back on Twitter. I've been waiting months for it.
I'll be honest with you. I'm terrible at clicking like follow back buttons. I really am. There's there's my panelists on here. I have their phone numbers via WhatsApp, and I forget to create contacts. And sometimes I'm like, what is their actual number? I'm just bad at that type of thing. Maybe.
Yeah, Aaron, I've got a question for you since you're a lower league fan. So we've seen I don't know if people know, but the Dutch league and the Belgium league are looking to combine together to create one league and to go forward, because their games are not as financially viable as maybe what they once was, and they're looking to try and improve their game as well. If combining the Scottish League and the English Pyramid together meant guaranteed more revenue and more opportunity for better competition and better players coming in and more games for yourself to go watch, would you be down for that? Or are you just completely just keep them completely separate no matter what?
If it also meant more money coming in for English lower leagues, Scottish lower leagues, and also the other clubs around Scottish premierships, not just Celtic and Rangers, if it meant opportunities for the likes of Kilmarnock, Inverness, Hibernian, Motherwell, and the teams further down, like your Fofar Athletics and your Brecon Cities and your Allan Athletic, then I'd be down for. Yeah, I'd be down for that, because it means that the lower Scottish clubs are not suffering, and it means that our sport's not suffering. Because if you look at it from an English point of view, Swindon's in what's reported now as a financial mess. They need a buyer. Colchester could get a points deduction, and that could save Southend or Grimsby. Southend need a new owner, because that's the reason they're possibly going down to the conference after this weekend's game in League Two, because they're nearly at relegation with Grimsby. So, Southend need a new buyer, Swindon, Colchester. Many of these lower league clubs need, more investment. And like I said earlier, we've not been given the funds that we've been promised by the Football League, and it's been exposed by my club in particular, but I know that other clubs have done that as well. So if this new British Super League was to give more financial support to the lower clubs that are at the heart of a community, at the heart of a game, in England and Scotland, as well as the other stuff, then maybe I could come around to the idea. But the main thing I'm worried about is the future of our English game, because if it just helps the bigger clubs like the Celtic, Rangers, and the people in the Premier League, and maybe a couple of teams in the Championship, but the rest of us suffer lower down in England and Scotland, and also bringing in Wales and Ireland as well, then I wouldn't be a fan of that, because it's tearing up our pyramid rather than bringing it close together. Because I think we can all admit, since the 1990s, ever since the Premier League broke away from the Football League, the Premier League gap between the Football League has grown, and we've seen more lower league clubs fall under the waistline because people have just not cared until it's too late. So if this helps us care before it's too late to save our clubs and bring in more money for them and help them revolutionize with the TV revenues and the modernization of football, rather than keep them in the dark ages and keep the Premier League moving forward and the bigger teams in Scotland, then I'd be a fan of it.
Yeah, listen, I completely agree. Aaron, thank you very much for coming on, having your say, mate. Really do appreciate that. The knowledge you have is impeccable. It really, really is.
Thank you.
Top man. Thank you very, very much indeed.
And I said Allan FC.
A lot of what he is saying there, in the sense of it's and you said it earlier, KJ, it's the execution. It is, what is the plan? Not just we're going to create a new British Super League and we're going to take these two big Scottish giants and branch off. It's give us a full plan of action. This is what it means for every stage. This is what we want the money to look like. This is how we want to dissipate. This is how we're going to improve football, right down to, and this is a pie in the sky, it will make under 10 Sunday League football free, because we will pay the subs fees needed to pay for the football pitches for that level of football. Like work it right down to that point where kids in the whole of the UK get to play Sunday League football under the age of 10 for free.
I remember paying for subs, man. It's just like, bro, man's trying to play football.
I know, exactly. And I'm not saying it would be financially viable to do that, but I'm putting something out where you could show something, what it would look like at the top. right down to the bottom. Do you know what that would do for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of parents across the UK, saving them that little bit of money? It would be that gesture that's needed. If you put something together that is compelling, then people will get behind it. But if it's just, we want to create a better league, it'd be more entertaining. Oh, and by the way, your Sky subscription is going up by £15 a month if you want to watch it. No one's going to buy into these things. Tahir here with the super chat says, Terry, I'm a Chelsea fan in the US. I much prefer to listen to fan channels than talk sport because as an Asian person, channels like yours and AFTV, for the first time, have given all fans of all races a say-so. Thank you. Bro, I don't feel like I need thanks for that, but I appreciate your comment. And we will always strive to give fans from all denominations, genders, sexual orientations, races, creeds, and religions an opportunity to speak. It isn't something we think about. I think, I need to get a woman's opinion on this. I just want to hear from good fans and good people. But of course, we'll never discriminate in that way. And I thank you for noticing and understanding that. Yeah, there we go. Cost Super Chat here says the corporations understand.
Try it, Terry. Try it. I dare you.
Try what?
The name. Try it. The name.
No, look, I am dyslexic. That name. Oh wow, you've actually put me on the spot now.
I can't. I don't think I could do it. I think you might have to break it up for us, my brother. Like break it up for us
I'd love to be able to
in the
pronounce
comments.
it. Yeah, I can't.
I think his last name's Gumende.
Gumende. I could do the surname, but my brother, I'm going to call him for now, says the corporations understand fans' nature. That's why they have the balls to do what they did. Fans will quickly forget all of this has happened and turn back to being silly consumers. I hope we prove them wrong. I hear you, bro, on that massively. Remember, we are taking your calls. We're speaking about the vicious, ridiculous attack from Ray Parlour on AFTV this morning. We're talking about the British Super League. Do you support this idea? Could it be the thing that saves the lower levels of football and improves Scottish football as Scottish football deserves? I don't think people realise in the 70s and 80s, Scottish football was strong and potent and brilliant. We want your views on that as well. The link, I'm going to post the link in the comments section again now for you to come on and have your say. Get your super chats in as well. We'll get them out there.
Apparently it's Aya Tutuka. Apparently is how you pronounce that.
See, that's pronounced a lot easier than it looks. Aya Tutuka. Okay, cool. If you can phone up, bro, phone up and let us know. I'd love you to say it so I can learn. I love learning different things like that. Let's take a call here from my guy, David. David, what you saying, bro?
I'm good. But this British Super League is a nonsense. It's a complete nonsense. Rangers and Celtics at best are lower level Premier League clubs, maybe Championship, like promotion level, and then the rest of them are barely League One. So to chuck them into an English league doesn't make any sense because they will just get relegated. And Scotland's not an attractive place to go anyway. So you're kind of... It's not. No, genuinely.
Man says this while in Wales. He says this while in Wales, people.
Not as in for a football player to go to Scotland, it's not really an attractive thing. You get to play in the Old Firm, cool, but after that, there's not really much else to do. Like,
chat to Virgil van Dijk and them man there about that one still.
But again, their whole thing was it's a stepping stone. It's literally they see Scotland as a stepping stone. Like it's not a very attractive place. So just throw them in England. I'm not.
But it isn't as simple as that. Again, so the point is, I think what you miss here, and this is because you're 19 years old, Sunshine, right? And I'm going to call you that. I know you, so you're not a normal, so I can say that, right? These clubs were powerhouses before the money fell out of Scottish football, and I agree with you. Throwing 5 of the current Premier League Scottish teams into the Premier League. They are not doing so well, in my opinion, especially outside of Rangers and Celtic. But it's about creating this league and putting them where they fit now in terms of their ability. I still think there'll be more money in it. Lots of Prem Scottish players doing the Championship because it's better money. So you spread that money out, and then these clubs in Scotland can grow. And the point being, if Celtic are in this British Super League, players won't just be in the Old Firm derby because they'll also be playing Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Leicester. They then get to increase. So for them, it becomes important. And what I think needs to be explored is how they can help fix the lower levels of English football and the whole of the Scottish system. And at the same time, do you know how good it is for the Scottish economy? There's more than just 2 or 3 big games a year for Scotland, for Celtic and Rangers. There's suddenly 15, 20 big games a year, which brings tourists, which brings hotels get filled up, bars get filled up, restaurants get filled up. So I think
and then imagine
it needs to be done right.
And also, before you go, David, and then also imagine the euphoria seeing an Aberdeen or Hibernian make it to the Prem via the Championship or whatever, however long it takes them to get there. That would be mad. That would be just as good, maybe even not better for that team than a Sheffield United getting it. You know what I'm saying? I know you think about the whole logic of it, but like, again, the football fan, we don't run off logic half the time. I feel like if it's implemented correctly and done strategically, it could work. It'll just be a lot. It's just a lot of work.
What I'm saying is that if you're going to do it, you have to do it with every club. You can't just take Rangers and Celtic out because Scotland will just crumble like literally in front of us. You have to do it with every single club, and then it's like, where do we put these clubs? Because once you do, like, I genuinely think Scotland is about League One level on average. So their Championship it probably won't even be League Two. It may be conference level.
Yeah, I think exactly.
That's where you run into the problem.
But that's where you find a way to be like, all right, cool. You take the Scottish Prem teams, put them in the traditional Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two, place them wherever, however you do that, you do it however, and then the rest of them, you restructure the promotion system for League Two. So the Scottish League will be like another version of the conference for England, and their champion or their second and first place going to the League Two, just like how the conference, they get their people in there too. I think that way you could try and keep it flowing.
Yeah, you could make it work, but David's right in his point that you can't just take the 2 big ones out, and that would be, again, I would never back that, because you would make you would literally end Scottish football, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know you would.
All apart, and that isn't, again, that's no different to what we were worried about when it comes to the European Super League. So it needs to be fair. But I think we're all in agreement that football needs reform in so many ways. Money needs to be spread out better. You know, it's not, you know, I want to see, look, I'm English when it comes to football. I'm British when it comes to all these nations. I don't have any, like some English people do. When I think of the Scots and the Welsh and the Irish, and my son's Irish, one of the best men I ever knew in my whole life, one of my uncles was Welsh. I don't know very many Scots, but everyone I've met that's Scottish has been lovely, like legitimate. I don't have any ill feeling. The only time I'm like, oh, is when we play them in sport. But I want to see their leagues improve. I want to see their clubs improve. I want to see their nations improve. When Scotland play another team in football, I generally want Scotland to win unless they're playing me. Like, I'm just not one of these kind of Englishmen that's like, oh, I want everyone else to fail that we've ever had a war with 500 years ago. What? Weirdos. Like, you know what I mean? I'm over Braveheart, bruv. Like, it don't matter anymore. It's over. Like, William Wallace, big up yourself, bro. Like, I don't care. Like, do you know what I mean? Some English people are mad. They like hold, like, I have a football rivalry with France, or sporting rivalry with France and Germany. I have no political rivalry, bruv. Like, that stuff's gone to me. It's all about sport. Do you know what I mean? I remember first German I ever met. It was in summer of 2002. I met Germans, but spoke to. I was in Marina de Massa, just outside Pisa, WKA, World Karate Association, World Championships. And this place was amazing we were at. And we were at this big event. We were at this big hostel place they converted. And there was Team England, Team GB, Team Germany, Team USA and Canada, and a few other teams all in this big like complex. And we were in this block, and it was mad because they said to me, my brother, and like 5 of my mates, like, oh yeah, you guys are in a room over there, but be careful because you're literally in a room in the middle of Team Germany. And at first, like, we were young, we were like, oh, that's rough. I want to be with the rest of like Team GB. And we sat there, and I remember that first morning, the showers, like these open showers, right? It wasn't beautiful. It wasn't like the World Cup of England or anything. And there's all these Germans talking. I've never felt so intimidating in my life. I was like, I didn't understand the language. I was like, they're like the enemy or whatever. Because my whole life you had it pumped into you, like Germans, England, whatever. And then this guy come up to me. I just got a shower. I've been telling me. He's like, "Hi, my name's Dirk." And I said, "Oh, how you doing? I'm Terry. How you doing?" We got chatting. He was just joining their version of the RAF. I can't remember what it was called. Not the Luftwaffe. But like we're chatting and having a laugh and a joke. And through that whole trip, we just became really good friends, and we still talk now. And that was nearly 20 years ago. And it was, but I remember getting home and I was like, Dad, like, you know, this whole England Germany thing. I said, you know, it's a bit stupid, right? And he's like, yeah, I know. It should just be about sport. My dad's always been great like that. And that was my realization moment as a 15, 16-year-old boy that it's all nonsense. But some Brits still want to carry this stuff on, you know. It's like, oh, I hate the Germans. Why? Because of World War II. What?
I was about to say, it's not. It's
it's under new management now, bruv. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy Brits. Them kind of English people make me feel. Those kind of English people make me feel sad inside. I get a little bit of sadness. I'm like, oh, bless you. Do you know what I mean? Gammon FC, bruv. There we go. David, thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate that, my bro. Yeah, there we go. He actually did make that joke though, Dirk. He was like, yeah, he goes, you know, I mean, I think I don't know how long to know him. He says, you do realize as a member of the sort of German Air Force, he was like, you do realize if we ever go to war again, I'm going to be dropping bombs on your house. I was like, oh, thanks, cheers, mate. I appreciate. That was like friend talk. I was like,
hey.
I mean, this guy have a beer. He's the top guy, top guy. Dirk was. Next on the show, we got Man Lucky Gal. What you saying, my brother?
Listen, this just goes to show you the distraction tactics from. You got one guy who's an ambassador for the club in Ian Wright, clearly saying Kroenke out, and you got another guy in Ray Parlour. I've absolutely lost respect for him. And you know what? TalkSport as a platform, I don't think Robbie or any of these Arsenal fans with big platforms should be going on there anymore, because they're clearly just trying to go on there and distract the fans from the main point of what we're doing and what everyone's trying to do. What everyone's trying to do is trying to get more power for the fans. They're trying to see an owner who hasn't spoken to the fans since 2011 to actually come out and say something like, I have not heard this guy speak on camera or in person ever about the club. Only direct quotes from him and his son speaking. So it's like when you have Ray Parlour taking a shot at AFTV, what are you thinking, mate? You're literally trying to distract. We see right through the whole situation. It's disgusting. And you know what? They're hypocrites, because when they had Robbie on last time, they attacked him for views. When they have Robbie on this time, they attacked him for views. And when Arsenal lose, they're probably celebrating, because majority of those guys are probably not Arsenal fans. They're probably fans of other clubs enjoying the situation. So as much as they're taking shots at fan channels and YouTube channels, I just see it as jealousy. They're upset that they're not getting views. And you know what? As much as they're making fun of YouTube channels, they've started their own YouTube channel. They're doing daily YouTube channels from 3 to something too. So as they're hypocrites, absolute hypocrites, and I can't stand for this, because they're always taking shots at our as fans, at us and everyone else that's doing content. It's ridiculous, mate. Absolutely ridiculous. It's elitist at its finest.
Mate, I hear you on that completely. Very, very well said. And it really, really is. And we need to be working together with people. And fans should be at the forefront of what we do, you know. And AFTV, Redmen TV, the Full-Time Devils, now Stretford Paddock, the pioneers. That then led to United Stand being formed, my channel being formed. You know, I'm going to miss names here. We Are Tottenham TV, Rants, Expressions, Sneak Sports, Gold Diggers. The break-offs from these origins have been amazing. Different people, different views, opinions, ages, demographics. Just the way they consume football is different, but it's given everybody an opportunity to speak and I just think that they feel threatened, as you say. And what do people do when they feel threatened? They lash out. Comment here says it's ironic that the big media wants to become small media. Yeah.
Listen, them man say football's for the fans, except the media. The media is not for the fans, apparently. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be screaming it's for the fans, it's for the fans. We care about the fans, and then don't allow the fans to do something. It makes no flipping sense. You know what I'm saying? These guys are just jealous. Them man are threatened. They're scared. They're wallads and cowards, fam. They're pagans, bro. That's what all these people are.
Listen,
100.
Ray Parlour's back must hurt because the puppeteer was telling him what to do, basically. I genuinely believe these guys have been, because they have Ian Wright as an ambassador for the club. Ray Parlour works directly with the club. These guys work with the club. So when you have people that work with the club showing that they're clearly on side with the Kroenkes, trying to distract us from the main point, you know what? No one's going to stop us. At 6 p.m. at the Emirates Theatre, you're going to see probably 10,000 plus Arsenal fans. I'm telling you. And I'm going to be there.
10,000.
I'm guaranteeing about at least 10,000 fans. I'm telling you, this is probably going to be the biggest fan protest at the Emirates you've ever seen. And they've done fan protests before, but this is going to be 10 times the size, because now we have people that we have match-going fans who've constantly said, you know what, we're never going to protest because it's not our thing. Guys like Ty, guys like fans that have season tickets for years that would never protest, never wanted anything to do with the Arsene Wenger out or anything else, are now in hand. You have unity. This is the most I've ever seen our fan base brought together. No one has once mentioned Arteta out in I think forever. And you know what? I'm happy that our fans are now unified by this. And this might not be the thing that gets Kroenke out, but it will be the beginning of putting pressure on them.
And I think what's really nice about the timing of this as well is I was reading in the Telegraph and in My London yesterday that Britain is no longer in a pandemic, according to experts.
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
I mean, again, I'm only going by what experts have said. The pandemic is now officially over. So I think that just gives everybody, vaccines are out, masks will be worn. Experts say the pandemic is over. So from a safety point of view, I think it makes everybody feel a little bit safer in regards to that as well. I said I'm only tweeting what scientific experts have said. That isn't my personal opinion. Let me just make that very, very clear. Igal, I'll chat about the protest later. I know you're going to get some footage for us and we're going to sort of call out to you when you're there. We'll be live ourselves digitally when that's going on, brother, as you are one of our chief Arsenal correspondents for the Football Terrace. As it's you are.
And win, lose, or draw. Win, lose, or draw, I'm definitely not going to be able to come on the match reaction because I'm going to be making my way home from the protest probably around the same time.
That's fair.
That's cool, but no, totally understand that, bro. Listen, Gal, thank you for coming on, having your say, mate. Really do appreciate it massively.
You said correspondent. I don't know how. This feels too weird, bro. What are you talking about, fam? Correspondent.
What is that? Professional, bro. Yeah.
This snap deal going to your head a little bit, fam. That's
fan report. Okay, I'll say one of our fan reporters. Let's say
that.
Yeah,
but I say, listen, people. If Terry starts turning into TalkSport, I will be here. I will be here to start the coup and take over, fam. Don't worry about that.
I've got loads of other people backstage waiting to come on, but unfortunately, I have run out of time today. There's some things I've got to crack on with. But everyone that's tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your support. Do me a big, big favor and smash the like button. Hit the share button as well. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. We're back for the protest later on. We're back for the live fan reaction after the game as well. But until then, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll